Hello and welcome to the YOUmedia Podcast. I'm your host, Montgomery, one of the librarians here for South Dade. And for today's topic, we're going to be talking about our favorite movies. I'm going to do at least 5 favorite movies from 2008. So before we get started,
I mean, 2018.
2018. Yeah, it is 2019. So yeah. So to my right, we have.
Hi, guys. I'm Kamala. I'm here from YOUmedia, and I have my topics as well.
Hey, it's Destiny.
So let's start off with. You don't necessarily give us a top 5, but which 5 that you like?
Oh, okay. Let me go first.
Sure.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. It's kind of hard because I'm like a bit of a Marvel's kid in a way with comic books. So I would say my top 5 would be Avengers: Infinity War.
Okay. Well, you don't have to do it all together.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
just do that one. Okay. So, what makes that one of your favorites?
Cause like it's the fact that the movie like has you on your feet and it has like characters that a lot of people really love, and the fact to see them all like in like different time zones, all with the same goal
Yeah.
of stopping Thanos is like really good. So I like it. And it just had me like, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? So yeah.
Good.
Okay, so one of my top 5 was the first Purge.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it because I really like movies that like
A lot of killings.
yeah, not killings, but like where you have to like be fit and like you have to your goal is to survive. Like I like stuff like
That's a nice way to spend some time. Survive in this movie. Well, same thing with Avengers. They're surviving too against Thanos. So, since we're doing killings a bit,
right.
one of my big surprise was Halloween.
I did not see it.
That one, I was really surprised how well it was. And considering how the first one took place over 40 years ago,
Mhm.
and I've seen just about all the sequels, and this one's just a no, forget all that. Halloween, back in the 70s, and then this movie, that's it. And it makes perfect sense. I was really, really happy to see that Jamie Lee Curtis comes back, does an amazing job against Michael Myers. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's better than I expected.
The trailer, it was. I cannot lie. When it comes to that movie in the trailer, you can see it in the trailer, especially with like Jamie Lee, which is she's amazing, and the fact that like seeing the older movies and then seeing her in this movie like determined and ready, it's like, oh, I have to see what she's gonna do. I have to see what's next.
Yeah, and I was really, really surprised to see that. So, highly recommend that one. So, what's your number 4?
Number 4. Gotta think. Okay. Ooh, it's kind of hard though, cause I'm thinking about the movies that came up. I would say The Black Klansman, cause that's one of the movies I saw, and I'm really into like advocating and then different types of movies that show like truth. And the fact that this is a man who pretended to be a Ku Klux Klan member was actually funny. And it's the fact that he went deep undercover and people in his office did not believe that he would do it. He's like, oh, okay, you're here. There's nothing we expect from you. But he's like, nah, I got an idea. And he just ran with it. And it was pretty good. I don't want to like spoil it for anybody else, but it's a really good movie.
Good. Excellent.
All right, so my number 4 was Infinity War, actually, because I don't know, it was just one of those movies. Like it was one of the first Marvel movies that actually like kind of made you sympathize with the villain a little bit.
I agree.
So yeah,
He had a certain point of view that I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
It made him more. It made him more human in a way though, because like when you watch it, you see like certain parts. It made you feel like, no, like whoa, like this is not like your typical villain in a way. They gave more to like his backstory. So I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a better build up for most Marvel villains because we've had over 10 years to finally see Thanos in action, and he does deliver the goods at the end, so to speak.
Yeah.
My number 4, I was kind of happy about this. Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my god.
I mean, we were going to talk about diversity. It's one of those that you kind of blame Black Panther for starting this, but you have a certain cast and you tell a certain story that yeah, you may not be Asian, you may not be black, but you can still enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
You know, and I think to me, because I liked a lot of the people that were already on there,
Same here.
Michelle Yeoh, who actually was on Star Trek Discovery, um, Constance Wu is from Fresh Off the Boat, which I love her on that show. So seeing them back together in this movie is really fantastic. And again, I would like to see more of this coming up in the future. So,
In that movie, I love the sass in the comments and the shade that was thrown. I was like, oh, I'm here for it. I love it.
all right, what's your next one?
Top three, right? I mean, well, we're
No, not
number
top,
three.
top three, but just
Number
your
three.
favorites.
I'm trying to think. I would say Ant-Man and Wasp because I seen it around the summer, and I liked it because it brought more women into the Marvel, and it displayed a light being shed on them. Because most people don't really know about Wasp. They've heard her in the first one,
Right.
but they really don't know about her from the comic books. So I like that they brought her back in.
Finally.
And they also brought the scientist's wife in it too, and how she was lost in time. And it was a movie that had a lot of good science to it that I liked.
Yep. Good.
All right, so number 3 for me would be The Hate You Give.
Okay.
So I saw that. It was really good.
Now, have you read the book?
I didn't read the
The book.
book, but I saw the movie.
That's how I knew it from the book.
But I liked it.
Yeah. What's good about it? From the actress or the story or?
Honestly, like, I just like the story. Like how she was, you know, she lived in the hood, but she was going to a predominantly white school, and how she had a lot of differences, and like there were certain things that she couldn't talk about with her boyfriend, and then like the tragedy of her best friend made her like open up and gave her like courage to stand up for things that she believed in, that she was holding inside.
Okay, good. My next one, I'm looking through my notes here because I do a separate podcast in which I look at a lot of movies, and I'm just like, there's a lot of good ones that I've watched. I'll put this out there. Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Ooh, I did not see that.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
did
see
not really. I like Teen Titans. I didn't watch the TV series as much, and I was like, "This is not the Teen Titans that I read in the comics." So I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh God!" But I went with it, and I enjoyed this so much, like laughing out loud with my family. And I just bought this on DVD, so I'm like, I cannot recommend that more to anyone who has not watched anything from DC in the animated side. It is so well done. If you ever watching the Challengers of the Unknown, I do have a comic book out there that made references to a 60s kind of like superhero group that don't have powers, but it's just really funny. And I was just like, it made my year. So,
For me, another movie I would say is Ocean's 8. Because because I remember seeing, Ocean's 11, and when they had those I can't think of his name. Oh, I should know his name. I can't think of his name. Yes, George Clooney. So I remember those movies. I was seeing like Ocean's 8. I was like, okay, I see Sandra Bullock. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do with this. And I like the fact that they had an all women's cast, and it was really star studded. And you have Mindy from the Mindy Project. You have Rihanna, and then you have I can't think of her name. I'm messing up these names.
you got Kate Blanchett in it.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, I have to see what each person is going to do. And he had Johnny Depp's ex-wife, which is someone I love as an actress. And the fact that all these women come together and they all have this one goal, it was really good. I liked it. And I feel like they paid a really good tribute to Ocean's 11 that came out before it.
What about you? What's next?
Oh, the next movie would be Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Yeah, Bird Box was really good.
Okay.
Sandra Bullock did really good in that movie too. It was kind of messed up, like how they all had to die and they couldn't, make it. Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to come out. You didn't see it?
Oh, it's on Netflix. It's okay.
Exactly. My
You
bad.
had like 2 weeks to watch it.
Right. But it was really
Oh,
good.
we should have added. We said spoilers.
Yeah.
That
My
wouldn't have worked.
bad. But yeah, it was a really good movie. I liked it.
So moving on from the Bird Box, since it's Netflix, I actually am going to recommend this Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch is from Black Mirror. It's a
Okay.
series in which,
Oh.
in this episode, you get to choose your own adventure. So depending on your device, like you have to watch it either on your phone or a tablet, or you have your Xbox and you play that on your TV, but you choose an action, and you're never going to get the 2 results every time you watch it.
That's
So it's kind of
interesting.
weird because the person feels like he's not in control, but then he becomes aware that you're the one that's controlling. So it's very enjoyable to do and to play over and over again. So
Okay.
Bandersnatch is
Try
one
it
of
out.
those, and no one dies. Wink. So yes, I highly recommend Bandersnatch.
My last one, you guys know is Wakanda Forever. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I like Black Panther because I grew up watching this. I remember staying up late at night and watching the comics and everything, and then also reading the comic books. And the fact that, oh my gosh, the cast, like you said, with Crazy Rich Asians, this is a cast of one, and everyone played their part. You have Lupita, you have Chadwick, you have Michael B. Jordan, and it's like they gave each character their standpoint and made them all individuals within one movie. And the graphics and how everyone was like, oh no, they're the third world country. There's nothing. They're like, no, like this country's really evolved. And I liked how they were dedicated in the story and the plot and everything. And they were a cast I can say it opened a lot of minds for young girls coming up and young men growing up as well. Especially the character Zuri, how she's young and people are upset that she has so much power with how she maneuvers. That movie is a movie that everyone should see. It's really good.
Yeah. Oh, number 5? Yeah, Black Panther 2. Like, yeah, because I only watched 5 movies this year, but
Well, you made it count. That's good.
But yeah, I liked it too. The colors were really good. Like the cinematography was very good. And yeah, I liked how like they had the tech like in that city. Like the city looked really live.
No, I think what won me over was the Dora Milaje, the guards
that
for
too.
Black
my
Panther.
gosh.
Yeah, they were
Oh my gosh, the fact that
very
they brought that, I
strong.
was like, oh my gosh, they're giving dedication to the all female tribe and the warriors. I was like, the director, he really did a lot of research with that movie, and I liked it, especially like how like Black Panther's suit and how well like it was customized, how much detail they put into it, and then like when they all were like at the end of the movie and they're battling out, how they were battling, it was just like so much graphics in one movie, and to see it in theaters, it's like.
And even when like one of them they chose their country over the guy, like I love that part too.
But one of the things you talked about with Thanos about having a certain point of view, so did Killmonger.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, kind of like really kind of breaks you, because if, I know it's fictitious, that Wakanda's not really real, but if they did turn their backs against those that were enslaved, it makes perfect sense that why you have all this technology, we should be on top.
Yeah.
You know?
And I remember doing a sit down about the movie Black Panther and how much it displayed, and I was the type of person, I feel like I sympathize with Killmonger and I love his character, especially from the comic books, even though he was, the enemy of Black Panther. But it's like the movie broke down 2 different mindsets and point of views. It gave you the modern day, Black man in America versus the modern day Black man in Africa. And, Black Panther, he grew up with a certain mindset and how they walked, oh no, this is something we keep within our own. But like you said, Killmonger was like, we have this, why not give to the ones who need it? But it was all about how you do it, which is a point of view I feel like he didn't really have.
Right.
he was like, oh no, we're gonna make everybody on top and powerful, but it's like you have to be careful of who this technology is being given to.
Right.
And I really do like the movie. It had a lot that it spoke on and shed light to. And you know what? They finally got Claw. You know,
Fish.
Claw. I like Claw because he was funny in the movie.
Yeah.
But he was a crazy character. Not I'm for real. Claw was funny though. To my you want to check out my mixtape? I got it.
Okay. I don't have a number one necessarily because again, I just there's just too many to kind of narrow down. I will throw in. I saw recently over the holidays Aquaman.
Oh, I forgot.
I had
that.
that
Aquaman
opportunity,
is
but I didn't.
for DC to do a movie that just Aquaman justice beyond the fact that you know
Yes.
he's a lame superhero character that talks to fish. And you have no idea what his abilities other than he can swim and that's it and talks to
Yeah.
fish. But they've done such an amazing job with this character that it's enjoyable. Also opens up a whole new world that we've never seen before. So it's colorful, it's a lot of fun. And it feels like if you're never going to see any other Aquaman from that point ever, you saw the best Aquaman movie ever.
Yes.
So
And you're right. A lot of people look at him as a lame character because they don't they don't shed a lot of light on Aquaman. Like if you look at like the cartoon series, like with Teen Titans, they brought Aquaman up, but he was like, "Oh, okay, you're just a fish guy. You're
Right.
yeah, you're just that." But if you look at a lot of them when they have, they don't show a lot. They're like, "Okay, he's the water. That's it." But I feel like them bringing Aquaman to life in theaters, there were so many graphics. There were, especially the leadsman in that movie, how he cracked jokes and how he was in the movie, but it felt it was right. And it's just like it was so much there about it. It made you look at Aquaman in a new way from how you see him in the comic books. Not like that
yeah,
too.
he was actually cool for once. So.
Yeah, he wasn't just Aquaman. Okay, it was like, well, this is Aquaman. It was
You know, it's like, oh, I need water. I've been out of land too long. No, that didn't happen. So that's a good
Oh my
thing.
gosh, it's for I'm sorry, but behind the scenes, that movie made me want to know what it took to make it.
Right, exactly. I totally agree. That's the kind of thing, like, even when I grew up watching Star Wars, I want to know how they made the special effects.
Yeah,
I want to see it. Like, the fact they're talking underwater, I know it's not underwater, but still, it gives that illusion. How did they do that?
Yeah,
That's
it
what's
is.
amazing.
And oh my gosh, no matter what happened in the movie, water was the main source, and it made you feel like, okay, how do they get the suits to come to life? How do they do all these different things? And I feel like Aquaman, because it's a water movie, I feel like it was one of the hardest movies to actually do.
Right, exactly. Just like, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy dealt with space.
Yeah.
Or Thor has to deal with kind of like how magic and science are one and the same. How do you explain a god like that? So it's kind of hard to kind of make it grounded, but still lean into the comics so that you feel it's still respectful enough that like I can get into Aquaman now.
Yeah.
I can get into Thor and the Guardians, and once you have that set, now we're off and running because the world's been set. So.
Yeah, and going back to the Thor situation, I like with the gods. It's like for some reason that movie it felt like you were watching three different things happen all at once. Even though everyone had the same goal, it was just like you had Thor, you had Galaxy, then you had the Avengers. It was just so much happening, but it all corresponds together.
Now, since we're almost done with the podcast, what movie that you wish you got to see but didn't get to see?
It's kind of hard. I want to say Widows. Like I kind of saw it and I kind of didn't see it.
Okay.
But I really wanted to see it because of the interest in the movie. He's known for doing things like he did the movie Commuter. I can't think of his name.
I know you're talking about Liam Neeson.
Yes, and then seeing him with Viola Davis, I really want to see how that play out because those are two strong characters. Well, not characters, but actors in the movie. So I want to see how those two would play out well in that movie. And then you have I can't think of her name. She's a strong actress too in that movie. She played in Fast and Furious.
Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes, and I want to see her too because she's a powerful actress as well, and I want to see how they all would play out in one movie. So that's a movie I kind of really want to watch.
Okay.
I wanted to see Creed 2.
Mm.
I saw the first one. I think it's
Yeah. For me, Ralph Wrecks the Internet. The second one, I've been wanting to see it. I just did not get enough time to watch it. I like the first one, but like the first one, I watched it on DVD. So this is gonna be one of those, unfortunately, straight to DVDs. So, all right. So, guys, thanks for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then we'll be talking some more about what our favorite movies are in the next group for 2018.
Okay.
All right.